Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Right now at 6, a man shot and killed in a shooting last night. What we know about it so far. And another man hit and killed by a truck while crossing the highway. What police say what he was doing before he was struck.
And a look outside right now. We've had some light rain early this morning, but our rain chance is primarily going to be this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. Details coming up.
Good morning. It is 6 a.m. on your Saturday, July 26th. Oh my gosh.
It's been a while since we've done the weekend morning show together.
It has. Welcome back. Sarah just came back from Colorado, where I'm sure it was beautiful.
Oh, it was great. The weather was beautiful, and my son got to go to his first baseball game. So
the Rockies?
Yep, the Rockies. I hope to show a picture a little bit later on in the show. But the big thing to know this weekend is that we will have some spotty rain. It's not going to be a washout all weekend long, but here's a look at the Authority radar. Overnight, you can see we've had some areas of light rain, and right now we've got some light rain moving through Uvalde, out toward Lakey and Hondo. I know everybody a little on edge with the potential for flooding this July, but here's the good news. I do not anticipate flooding for us from the rain this weekend, so we can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief there. 77 in San Antonio, it's 75 in New Braunfels, 73 in Boerne and in Kerrville, and it is humid. Dew points are back up into those low 70s, and that's when you can really feel the humidity. So early this morning, a spotty light shower is possible, but notice that rain chances really do pick up in the afternoon, particularly between the hours of 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. That's when we'll see a few showers and storms. So spotty afternoon downpours today. Coverage will be about 40%, 91 for the high. And then tomorrow, slightly less rain coverage, about 30% coverage and a high temperature of 94. Coming up, though, we're going to talk about if you do get rain, how much rain you could expect in just a few minutes. Sarah.
Sarah, thank you. New this morning, a man is dead after police were called to a shooting on the far west side of town. This happened at 11:30 last night. Police say they found the man with a gunshot wound and he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. He later died from his injuries. However, it's unclear what led up to the shooting. As of right now, there is no suspect in custody. Then on the far northeast side, a man is dead after he was hit by a driver. This happened just after 12:30 near I-35 and Eisenhower Road. Police say they got a call about an hour earlier reporting a man running back and forth across the highway. They checked the area but didn't find him. Then a second call came in from a driver who hit the man. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. We're still waiting to find out who this man was. A 10-year-old boy is in the hospital after being accidentally shot in the neck. This shooting happened yesterday around 4:30 at a home on Bob Bila Street on the southeast side of town. San Antonio police say a group of kids were handling a gun when it went off, hitting that boy in the neck. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Officers tell us the parents weren't at home when it happened, and they're questioning the group about what led up to that shooting. And the Bexar County Sheriff's Office has been keeping a close eye on 2 locations that have been drawing attention for the wrong reasons. A tire shop on Culebra Road near Zarzamora and a home a few miles away on South Sandario Avenue. Investigators say all the watching gave them cause to raid both places Thursday afternoon. During those raids, they discovered cash, over 1,000 grams of methamphetamine, some cocaine, and 4 handguns. The sheriff's office says both locations are tied to one drug operation, and at least 4 people were arrested at those 2 sites, facing charges including drug possession, manufacturing, and engaging in criminal activity. And 3 San Antonio police officers accused of shooting a woman in her home. This happened in 2023. Now have a trial date. 46-year-old Melissa Bettis was shot and killed in her apartment during what San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says called a mental health crisis. So court documents say Alfred Flores and Elizar Alejandro are charged with murder, while Nathaniel Villalobos is charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Jury selection will begin on September 2nd. The Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office wants your help looking for a wanted fugitive. The sheriff's office says Thomas Wentworth, he's on your screen right now, Thomas Wentworth Jr. is wanted for violating his probation on 2 manslaughter charges. in connection to a deadly crash that happened in 2020. According to court documents, he failed to show up for a hair follicle drug test and left court without consent on June 17th. If you know anything about Wentworth's whereabouts, call the Guadalupe County Sheriff's Office. That number on the bottom of your screen there, 830-379-1224. Do you have anything to say to your constituents about your DWI charge?
Yes, I do. Last night I was pulled over on the suspicion of a DUI. And I know as a public servant, we are held to a higher standard, and I failed to meet that standard.
Meanwhile, another San Antonio City Council member has been arrested for driving drunk. This time, it's District 8 Councilman Ivales Meza Gonzalez. She was pulled over along I-10 near Hildebrand Thursday night after police say they saw her swerving in and out of her lane. She denied drinking that night, but then officers said her breath had smelled like alcohol. She was slurring her speech and she was staggering when she walked or stood up. She spoke to our cameras when she walked out of the Bexar County Jail yesterday afternoon.
I'm deeply regretful at the disappointment that I've caused my constituents, my family, and my colleagues. As this process moves forward, I will take full responsibility and make sure that my constituents are fully represented.
Even though she, in her statement, said DUI, she is being charged with a DWI, and this is not Mrs. Gonzalez's first arrest for drinking and driving. KSAT obtained records which shows she was charged with a misdemeanor DWI open container in 2010. Again, this is not the first time a city council person has been arrested under suspicion of driving drunk. You can read more about that on KSAT.com. It is 6:06 and 77 degrees. The next flood warning sirens in Comal County saving lives, how they are helping keep families safe, and what makes it so effective. A promise from volunteers to stand with the Hill Country after the July 4th floods, how Mercy chefs are stepping up to feed and employ locals in Kerrville for the long haul.
And as I was driving into work, I did see a few spotty light showers out there, but it's going to be later on this afternoon that some folks could get a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain. I'm going to have those details coming up.
Welcome back. Our Together for Texas campaign is still ongoing and has already raised more than $1 million so far. Oh my gosh, our viewers are amazing. Every cent goes to those impacted by the Hill Country flooding. Scan that QR code that you see on your screen to learn more about how to donate. Thank you so much to our viewers. Again, this money goes to Salvation Army to help those victims from the Hill Country floods. We really appreciate all your donations. It is 6:10 and 77 degrees. Coming up, Comal County's upgraded flood sirens have proven they can make a difference. Hear from the software founder behind the system and why it's a game changer for local communities.
They have already been responsible for saving lives.
That's a Comal County's emergency management saying the new flood warning sirens that they upgraded last year have already proven effective. This comes weeks after the deadly July 4th floods in the Hill Country and a dangerous flood in Comal County that they were able to warn people about. Zaria Oates spoke with the software founder behind these warnings to learn why the system is so valuable for local communities.
Sirens save lives. That's the thought process for at least 2 local counties and an AI company behind the software for one of them.
Deployed right on the Guadalupe River.
This is Jacob Carmichael, the founder of Rest Alert, a software system providing data and warnings ahead of floods.
With the technology that we have today, we can actually predict these things before they make it their way to us by taking the historical data and the current integrations that we have, whether it's weather stations, flood sensors, fire sensors, air quality monitors. We also installed big outdoor warning voice projection systems that could do any language to actually not only let people know something was happening, but what was happening and how to respond to that disaster.
It's a system already in place in Comal County under Jeff Kelly's emergency management supervision.
The only flood that we've gone through with the new system is on the Saturday morning, July 5th.
We're able to take in this data, bring it into our system, take historical data and run AI analytics over it and give predictive analysis of what's to come so that we can even be more prepared before the disaster even makes its way to us.
We were able to sound the ones that we had, along with calling for a mandatory evacuation.
While the system did cost a pretty penny,
It cost $1.92 million.
they paid for it with tax dollars, and according to Kelly, there was no tax increase either.
There were no grants involved. The county felt was important enough, and we had such a high threat and danger level here with the river that it was important that we go ahead and get this installed.
Comal County actually allows the public to access its system online on a website and see exactly where these flood sirens are located. If you search cceo.org, you can tap road closures and this map will appear. You can also opt in for email or push notifications, helpful for anyone who is hard of hearing to still get those notifications.
The goal is to let people know that water's coming their way.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about how to better prepare for flooding for a long time, Sarah.
Absolutely.
And because, again, this is flash flood alley. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when some flood like this will happen again. So looking forward to seeing how our community comes together to make sure everybody is prepared. Now today, we do not have the risk for flooding. Flooding is unlikely in San Antonio and the Hill Country. But that being said, there is still the chance for rain this weekend. Now it'll be spotty with a higher rain chances in the afternoon. There could be pockets of 1 to 2, but they're really going to be very localized. So that's why flooding is unlikely. And there will also be no hail with any rain that happens today. These are the two weather events and what types of weather that we usually get here that are dangerous, flooding and hail, and both of those things are unlikely this weekend. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clouds and radar across the nation, and you can see down there spinning near to Brownsville is a low pressure system, and that's what's bringing us our rain chances this weekend. So far this morning, what we've seen is just pockets of light rain. Now that light rain has really come to an end around San Antonio. You can see earlier we were dealing with some areas of light rain. Right now, though, that light rain is west of San Antonio, working its way through Uvalde, Hondo, out toward Concan, and nearer to Lakey. Again, I want you to notice that this is moving. So we're not seeing those showers park themselves over a location. They are moving. They are progressive, and that is the reason why flooding is unlikely throughout this weekend. Another reason, it's going to be pretty spotty. So we're seeing a bit of a break here in San Antonio, but notice that by the afternoon there will be a few pockets of heavier rain, perhaps even some thunder and lightning. That'll end with the daylight, with the sunset, and then once again tomorrow in the afternoon a few spotty pockets of showers and even thunder showers out there. Less coverage tomorrow. And as far as rainfall totals, again, notice spotty is the key word here. However, if you do get some rain, there could easily be a quick 1 to 2 inches of rainfall wherever we get rain. Again, these pockets of rain could happen anywhere in our the San Antonio metro area, and wherever rain falls, a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible. Doesn't mean everybody's going to get 1 to 2 inches of rain. Just wherever the heavier rain sets up, that's where we expect a few showers. A few 1 to 2 inches of rain. As we take a look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, notice again this afternoon is when we have the higher rain chances. Our high today will only be 91, and that's because we'll have some clouds out there, so not necessarily very hot. And then by this evening, once we see the sunset, again, a break in the rainfall. So far, we have had 4 triple-digit days this year. That's it. One of them last week and the other 3 in May. By this time in 2024, last year we had already had 12 100-degree days. By this time in 2023, 31. And by this time back in 2022, 47. So it has been a brutal few years of summer here in San Antonio. So the added rainfall is really keeping things a little bit cooler for us, but we are going to quickly warm up. Take a look at this week. By Wednesday, we'll be back to near 100 degrees, and then Thursday and Friday, another opportunity for rain Here's the thing, I'll talk a little bit more about our next rain chance in the next half hour, but just know that, again, it's going to get pretty hot Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as a high pressure system settles over.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely could smell the rain this morning and got just a couple of light sprinkles on my windshield, but that was about it.
Yeah, and that was that first round of light rain, and again, this afternoon we'll have a couple of spotty downpours.
Oh, I hope I'm one. You know,
I
a
know,
Saturday afternoon light rain.
Here's the thing. In spite of all the rain we've had, we are still in drought, so
Yes.
we need more rainfall.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, it's 6:21 and 77 degrees. Help is on the way for the Hill Country residents with disabilities. How one organization is providing vital medical equipment to thousands of families in that area. As long as it takes. Those 5 words we've heard a lot this month from volunteers helping out the Hill Country recovery from the July 4th floods. That's why the group Mercy Chefs says it's sticking around. The nonprofit announced it's adding a permanent kitchen in Kerrville to keep feeding people. The group has already prepared 60,000 meals for neighbors, visitors, and first responders in Kerr County. It's also planning to hire people living in the area who need work. Mercy Chefs hope to have the kitchen up and running by August 4th out of the Light on the Hill Church. And more help for the Hill Country, this time for people with disabilities in the area. Items like walkers, wheelchairs, and medical devices were collected and donated in partnership with the TBI Warrior Foundation, an organization dedicated to improving the quality of life for veterans and people with disabilities. Victor Medina, the president of the TBI Warrior Foundation, was injured during his time serving in Iraq and says his experience motivates his work.
People have lost so much, especially for people with disabilities. We are giving them back their independence, their dignity by doing this, by providing assistive devices they need for their care. They need to be mobile.
Medina says these donations will impact between 2,500 and 5,000 families. 6:26 and 77 degrees. A look on how the new Spurs arena could be paid for, and we have a breakdown of the latest numbers and what they mean for San Antonio's future. More than 30 years later, what led to the death of Antoinette Jordan? Still unknown. We hear from her son. That's next. Good morning at 6:29, 77 degrees out there. Sarah, I let the dogs out around 4. I could smell the rain, and then when I left, 20 minutes later, some sprinkles on my windshield.
Yeah, we've had some areas of light rain around San Antonio overnight, so you might notice as you're stepping outside, pavement's a little wet, but here's the thing, that initial batch of light rain has moved west of San Antonio, areas like Uvalde, Lakey, Hondo, and even out toward Rock Springs now getting that initial batch of light rain. You can see that here on the Authority radar. We're going to have a bit of a break in the rain until the afternoon. So here's a look at what you can expect this weekend. Spotty rain, higher chance in the afternoon. So don't cancel your outdoor plans this weekend, but make sure you have a backup indoor option just in case you happen upon one of those showers or storms. And if you do get one of those showers or storms, you could easily see 1 to 2 inches of rain pretty quickly. But things are going to be so localized that flooding is unlikely. And also there's not going to be any hail risk this weekend, so no need to worry about that either. Now coming up in the forecast, we're going to be talking about rainfall totals, and we're going to be talking about our next rain chance, which is right around the corner after a bit of heat. Details soon.
Sarah, thank you. Our first look at how a new arena for the San Antonio Spurs could be paid for. We've been talking about Project Marvel, the city's proposed downtown sports and entertainment district, for nearly a year. And yesterday afternoon, City Council heard an update from the Spurs, committed to financing some of the arena. This information comes from City Manager Eric Walsh. The San Antonio Spurs have pledged to pay $500 million in guaranteed coverage of cost overruns for a new arena. As for what the city would contribute, Walsh said between $350 million and $500 million, but he emphasized these numbers are preliminary and subject to change, meaning they are not final or binding. Walsh went on to say Bexar County is considering paying about 25% of the arena project cost. up to $311 million. So City Council chose to wait to vote until more information comes in.
We will not submit a term sheet unless this body has provided feedback, which will be informed by the economic analysis and the community feedback.
City manager says the economic analysis study findings will likely come next week. The mayor says she's expecting to continue those discussions then. The number of veterans experiencing homelessness is down this year, along with the number of people who have been without a home for over a year and those dealing with disabilities. That's according to a point-in-time census, so done by the organization close to home. However, according to their count, nearly half of the people who are currently unsheltered reported that this was the first time experiencing homelessness. Terry Billing, who with Haven for Hope, had this to say about the reason why.
It's inflation. It's the cost of housing that continues to go up. If our employment opportunities cannot keep up pace, keep up with the cost of living, then we could see an increase in those experiencing homelessness.
So the point-in-time count also found that domestic violence is a major driver of homelessness. There is some hopeful news. The organization says the homeless response system they have in place now is working despite being under-resourced. Close to home will have a new report coming out next year on how the city can prevent homelessness. Well, it's been more than 3 decades since a mother of 8 was found murdered under a bridge on the city's east side. Her killer has never been caught. But now, for the first time, one of her children, who was just a boy at the time, is speaking out, hoping that renewed attention will finally solve this 35-year-old case. Our Erica Hernandez revisits the murder of Antoinette Jordan and the son who refuses to let her be forgotten.
Antoinette Jordan was 35 years old, a mother of 8. These are the memories her children hold on to. A loving mother full of joy.
Antoinette Jordan was my beautiful, lovely mother. I remember her singing as a child. She used to sing to us. Every time we would get hurt or injured, she would take care of us.
In the spring of 1990, at just 8 years old, Trevin Jordan says his family suffered a devastating loss. His oldest brother murdered, his death leaving his mother devastated.
But I remember my mom going through that, being in pain, crying, and not being able to stand. And she was hurt, depressed.
He had no idea that just 2 months later would be the last time he would ever see his mother.
I just remember her leaving, and I just remember waking up and her not being there, and I knew something was wrong because my mom, when she go out, she'd always be there the next day.
Antoinette Jordan was found under the North Walter Street Bridge. At the time, police say a person walking noticed a woman laying face up under the bridge. Antoinette had been shot, and because her clothing was in disarray, police believe she had also been sexually assaulted.
She didn't deserve to be raped and murdered under a bridge in the dark by a coward, They may still be out there. We don't know.
Trevin and his siblings were eventually split up and put in the foster system. Growing up wasn't easy for him, but he held on to the memories with his mother.
Jordan was my mom's last name, and that's all we had. That's all we had left of her.
Now, with a family of his own, he's looking to find out who killed her.
I feel like God's telling me it's time to find out what happened to my mother, get to the bottom of it.
As for the investigation, Trevin says at one point investigators told his family they knew who did it.
They only give us lip service. Your dad did it. We couldn't prove it. My dad always maintained his innocence to the day he died, that he didn't do it. I think they used my dad as a scapegoat, and the perpetrator is still out there, I believe.
SAPD Online has Antoinette's case listed under their cold case section, even saying that items collected from her case were going to be resubmitted for analysis as new technology may help them solve the case.
Every time a family member called, they say, "No, we didn't do any testing," and they hang up. That's all we get over the years.
Trevin is still desperate for answers and doesn't want his mother to be forgotten.
It hurt to see people drive over that bridge, Walter Street Bridge, every day, and don't know my mom lost her life right there. No one put a flower out, a balloon out. No one did nothing for my mom. No one spoke up for my mom. So now I'm here to speak up for my mom.
Now, we reached out to SAPD for an update, but they told us we had to file an open records request, which we have since done. We'll be awaiting the results of that when it comes in. But if you have any information on this case, you can call Crime Stoppers at 210-224-STOP. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
In your morning headlines, the U.S. military killed a top ISIS leader in a raid in Syria on Friday. So U.S. Central Command says Dia Zaba Musli al-Hadani and two of his ISIS-allied sons were targeted and killed. 3 children and 3 women were present during the raid, but none of them were hurt. No other details have been released at this time. The U.S. has been carrying out anti-ISIS operations with partners in Syria and Iraq for months, but it's unusual for American forces to take part in ground raids rather than just airstrikes. And former Congressman George Santos now in prison. Yesterday, he turned himself in to start his 7-year prison sentence. In 2024, he pled guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. He admitted to filing false campaign finance reports and charging donors credit cards without their permission. The New York Republican was also ordered to pay $373,000 in restitution. States are about to get billions in public school funding that was held back by the Trump administration. So the Department of Education says more than $5 billion will start flowing back to states next week. Last month, the administration paused nearly $7 billion so the White House could review how it's spent, even though Congress had already approved the money. Last week, the White House released over $1 billion of that frozen cash for after-school programs. The administration says there will be rules to make sure the money is used in ways that matches the president's priorities. It's 6:38 and 77 degrees. Foot pain can make simple movements tough and raise your risk of falling. We'll show you some tips to help and how to find relief and get moving again. And then what if diagnosing autism or ADHD could just take 15 minutes? How AI is making that possible with a simple test that you can take on a screen.
And outside with live cam, it is cloudy and there's been a couple of sprinkles out there. But we do have a chance for rain, mainly in the afternoon. I want to caution you, though, it's not going to be a washout this weekend, so don't cancel your outdoor plans. Details soon.
Artificial intelligence could be a game changer in helping diagnose autism and attention deficit disorder. A typical autism diagnosis can take hours, but researchers in Indiana University have developed a test that could shorten the time to just 15 minutes. To take the test, you put on a tracker and start tapping dots on the screen that disappear and reappear every few seconds. The randomness in people's movements is the determining factor for the diagnosis.
The real surprise is that the randomness in people that have autism, ADHD, or the comorbid of the two things, is totally different from people that are called neurotypical, the ones that don't have this neurodevelopmental disorder.
Researchers say the test has an accuracy of 86%. Now that their research has been published, they'll be looking for more funding to expand that study. And foot pain is a common problem that can really affect your day-to-day life, making it hard to move, increasing fall risks, and throwing you off balance. So the good news, there are ways to ease that pain. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither shares tips to help find relief from chronic foot pain.
You may not think much about your feet, but they're the foundation of our bodies, providing support, stability, and allowing you to move. But they also carry a lot of weight.
You know, after a long day, many people can't wait to kick off their shoes and put up their feet. But if you suffer from chronic foot pain, that might not do it.
One study found foot pain is generally more prevalent in women, with footwear often a factor. Those who have obesity and seniors are also at higher risk. There are also several other reasons for the pain, including bunions, hammer toes, sports injuries, plantar fasciitis, and arthritis. But you may find some relief by focusing on stretching your calf and hamstring muscles, says Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
When these muscles are tight, lower tendons and tissue can get inflamed. One good stretch is just flexing your foot up towards your shin. You should feel the stretch in the back of your leg.
Gupta says to also try ankle and foot circles. Start with toes at the 12 o'clock position and rotate feet at the ankles clockwise and counterclockwise, or do windshield wiper motions with your feet. He says toe curls may also help.
Picture yourself trying to pick up something with your toes and then hold that position for 5 seconds, then relax. Do that 10 times. Doing these sorts of exercises daily will help keep your muscles loose and may ease your foot pain.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
It's important to note that foot pain can sometimes signal other health issues. Health experts say stiffness in your feet or ankles might mean you have arthritis elsewhere in your body. And swollen feet can be a warning sign of high blood pressure or problems with your kidneys or heart. And if you feel tingling, burning, or numbness in your feet, that can point to nerve damage, something linked to diabetes. And listen to this new study. It shows that extreme heat can make you age faster. Researchers studied over 3,600 people aged 55 and up. They found those who experienced at least 140 days with a heat index above 90 degrees aged up to 14 months faster, oh goodness, than those with just 10 hot days a year. Well,
we definitely get more than 140 days where the heat index is more than 90.
That's like, what, half the year,
Oh
Sarah?
my gosh.
That's about the same damage you see from smoking or even heavy drinking.
Okay.
Oh boy. Plus, faster aging can raise the risk for cancer, dementia, diabetes, and even early death. That was a really depressing story.
Yes.
Considering that, I mean, we can go months on end with triple-digit days, which I'm so grateful.
Yeah, we do.
So
we've
far,
only had 4.
but August is usually the worst.
Yeah, August, even early September, we can get up to the triple digits. And the thing is, though, today we're going to have clouds and some rain that's going to keep our temperature closer to 90. So there's that. But hey, as we take a look at the authority radar, the areas of light rain that moved through San Antonio earlier this morning, they're now west of San Antonio toward Concan, Uvalde, Lakey, and near to Medina. These are just some very light rain showers. We're talking sprinkles in some cases, pushing west toward Brackettville and Del Rio. As we take a look at the radar closer to San Antonio, you can see really the only thing you see on the radar right now, I can actually circle this is pretty cool, are the bats going back into Bracken Cave there from enjoying a feast of insects overnight. That is all we can see on the radar at the moment. However, we do expect some rain this weekend. Today there's a 40% chance, tomorrow a 30% chance. Here's what you need to know about that rainfall. The best chance is between 2 to 8 p.m. And there'll be spotty downpours. If you get one of those showers, you could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. There will be pockets of that around the area. Here's the thing though, no flooding and, no hail, and flooding is unlikely because these showers are going to be quick moving and progressive. That being said, flooding is unlikely in San Antonio. There is a low flood risk east of San Antonio for areas like Hallettsville, Gonzales, Victoria, Beeville, out toward Houston. These are the areas that have the higher chance for rain and fairly saturated soils. The low flood risk east of San Antonio, flooding unlikely for San Antonio, New Braunfels, Seguin, and points across the hill country. Flooding is unlikely. As we take a look at the setup across the nation, we do have a low pressure system down near Brownsville, and that low pressure system is the one that's causing us to see a chance for rain this weekend. That's going to be with us this weekend, and that's why in the afternoon we could see 1 or 2 pop-up downpours redevelop around San Antonio, around the hill country, those kinds of areas. And then tomorrow, once again, in the afternoon, a few pop-up downpours. Coverage will be a little bit less tomorrow, though. And as I mentioned, a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible if you get rain. And it is still a big question if you get rain because, again, coverage is only going to be about 30 to 40%. Looking at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, 87 at noon. We're going to be mostly cloudy today, and those clouds are going to keep temperatures down into the low 90s. It's in the afternoon that you could hear a few rumbles of thunder, see some lightning, and if you get some rain, a quick 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. After sunset, we'll see our rain chances come down for the day before picking back up again tomorrow afternoon. Highs 91 in San Antonio, 91 in Seguin, 90 in New Braunfels, 90 in Bernie, 94 in Uvalde. This is cooler than average. Again, we're going to have those clouds out there that are going to help keep temperatures in the low to mid 90s both today and tomorrow. But notice what happens by the middle of the week. We start to see our highs push back into closer to 100 degrees. That's because that low that's bringing us rain is going to move off to the west, and the heat high is going to settle overhead in the coming days of the week and be right overhead by Wednesday, which is anticipated to be our hottest day. But before it can stay hot for too long, we have another low pressure system like the one we're dealing with now that has the potential to move into south central Texas and give us additional rain and additional clouds. So by Thursday and Friday, our high temperatures are going to come back down again with the potential there for some more rain. We'll keep you posted on the flooding risk by the end of the week. Every situation that we get is a little bit different, and so we'll let you know if flooding is a possibility by the time we get to next Thursday and Friday. But this weekend, flooding is unlikely, and it really shouldn't ruin your outdoor plans too much. Again, it's going to be spotty.
I'll take those showers, no risk for flooding, but also cools things down.
It does. Keeps us from getting into the triple digits, which I like.
From aging.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. The whole time I was listening to you read that,
this is getting worse and worse.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess we're all just going to age faster than half of the
I will
nation.
say this. When I lived in California, the women there were like, oh, we can tell you're from Texas because Texas women's skin always looks much younger because of the humidity.
That, and also we have to use more sunscreen on a regular basis.
So, hey, we got this, ladies.
Yeah.
We got this. All right.
And guys, too, I guess.
All right, 6:51, 77 degrees. The U.S. Post Office is giving stamp lovers a chance to pick a stamp to reprint. How to vote and the winner will be revealed. Taking a look outside of the roads, the sun is up. People are getting started with their Saturday errands out and about. We're not seeing any major backups at this time. If we do, we will let you know. America's first communications network, the U.S. Postal Service, is celebrating its 250th birthday today. Happy birthday. And to celebrate, you will get a shot at a reprint. So the United States Post Office will reissue one of these 25 popular stamps it had printed in the past. So which one? Well, that's up to you. USPS will re-release whichever stamp gets the most votes. I'm trying to see which one I like. I don't know. The Mickey Mouse is iconic, or maybe, which one did y'all say in the back? LBB, no, I don't know. Maybe the Snoopy one is really cute. Okay, well, you can vote at stampsforever.com/vote. You have until the end of September, but the result won't be announced till May. And at the Boston 2026 World Expo, they're also releasing 2 sets of specialty stamps to celebrate its birthday, which you can buy at any post office. I don't know. I think I also like the Mr. Rogers one. So cute. All right, 6:55 or 56, 77 degrees. Here's a look at what's coming up on Good Morning America.
Good morning. Coming up here on GMA, midair scare. The frightening scene as a Southwest Airlines flight plunged nearly 500 feet to avoid a possible collision with an oncoming plane. The latest on the investigation and what passengers are saying about the terrifying experience. Also this morning, severe storms hitting the Midwest. Streets left underwater as blistering heat blankets the country from the south to the east. Our weather team is tracking it all. And ditching the detox trends. If you're trying to look and feel your best, there are ways to give your health journey a boost without falling for quick fixes. Nutritionist Maya Feller is here to break it all down. It's all ahead right here on GMA.
All right, a 40% chance for rain today, 30% tomorrow. The thing is, though, we're really only going to see spotty downpours. And if you get some rain, you could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. But there will be no hail, and flooding is unlikely because these will be moving. That is the key word there. Otherwise, we'll be warming up by the middle of the week before our next chance for rain Thursday and Friday.
Thank you, Sarah. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. Good Morning America is next. We'll be back here at 8 a.m. through 10.
See you then.